Hey, this is Christian and Dyke, and you are listening to one of the coolest podcasts that you can get online these days, and it's with Bob Bender on the business side of music.
Success in the music business begins with a dream, a vision. This podcast will give you, the listener, the insight and tools to turn that vision into a reality. Meet the industry professionals who work day by day behind the scenes, helping to make those dreams come true. Welcome to the business side of music.
This is Bob Bender, and you're listening to this edition of the business side of music. On the show today, we have the husband and wife team of Alexander and Jenessa MacMullin, or better known as Soapbox Duo. Their original music is a smooth combination of folk, rock, and jazz. This Canadian couple hit the bricks running in the fall of 2015 and have exploded onto the Edmonton Alberta music scene. Jenessa and Alexander met while attending jazz school. Jenessa's powerful voice mixed with Alexander's innovative guitar led them on a musical journey influenced by such notable acts as the Civil Wars, John Mayer, the late Amy Winehouse, and the Queen of Soul herself, Aretha Franklin. The couple writes and performs about topics that stir their hearts with a passion born of their personal life experiences. Their goal is to encourage and inspire others using their art as a soapbox. The couple writes and performs about topics that stir their hearts with a passion born of their personal life experiences. Jenessa and Alexander, in addition to releasing their first EP with 2 accompanying music videos, have also produced a documentary on the people and country of Haiti. Let's welcome to the studio Alexander and Jenessa, Soapbox Duo.
Thank you.
Thanks.
First of all, how'd you two meet? How'd you get together?
We actually met in music school. I was studying guitar and she was studying vocals. It was a great fit musically, and we just got to know each other really well doing projects together, and we thought, maybe we could make something of this.
Yeah.
And you're the guitarist, and she's the vocalist. Now, I notice on your projects that I've listened to, especially like the song Complexion, there's some really just wonderful harmonies. Are you doing all the harmonies to her lead?
Yeah, I also sing, and she also plays guitar. We're really strong in both areas, and we also are able to do both, so we can make a lot of different sounds with that.
Yeah, it's just when we went to university, I took the vocal program and he took guitar. So we're both stronger in those suits, but we certainly enjoy harmonizing together. Sometimes Alexander takes the lead, like the melody throughout the song. Sometimes I take it. Our new album, I'm a little bit more dominant vocally, but we're really excited about sharing that with everyone.
So on your new album, all original material?
Yes, it is. One of the tracks is actually written by another Edmonton artist. We were at a small local show and heard him play it as a solo piece and fell in love with it. It's perfect for us. It really fits the vintage meets modern sort of style. It's in 6/8 and it's a love song, so we do it as a little bit of a duet. I'm really excited to share that one with you. It kind of reminds me of what's similar to it right now, maybe Ed Sheeran's Perfect. He just did that duet with Beyonce, and last year or the year before, Meghan Trainor and John Legend did one in a similar style, so we're excited about sharing that with people. We believe that, it'll be one that'll hit home for a lot of listeners.
What's the title of the cut?
That one is called Easy.
So one of the things that I noticed when I was going over your website was, from what I understand in previous conversation, it's your debut album, self-titled, Soapbox Duo, and the one song I absolutely just fell in love with right off was the first track, Complexion. Tell us a little bit about that story and how that song came about.
I wrote this song in a time where I was going through a lot of struggles, and that voice inside your head that just beats you down, it just was really getting at me. So I wrote this song to kind of express those feelings.
Yeah, it actually morphed a little bit over time. We went to do some pre-production with Jared Salty of the Royal Foundry, who produced that EP. And he was like, hey, take this one back and play around with it a little bit. Try adding like another section or something like that. And so I was driving home one day, and I got this kind of hooky chorus in my head. That's the blah, blah, yada, yada sort of part. And I recorded it on my phone while I was driving, and I shared it with Alexander when I got there. And we ended up trying to insert it in the song, and we felt like it fit. We were a little nervous about it at first because we didn't want it to be silly or cliche, to take away from the rest of the song, and we weren't sure how people would feel about it. So we actually played it for some friends and family and asked them their opinion, and they really liked the idea. And now that we've actually played it for a couple of years for audiences, that is one that people love, and we often get the audience to sing that chorus with us. There's my physiotherapist has a 2-year-old that says that or my therapist always says that he's asking for that song when they go in the car. He asks for the blah blah song, and I thought that was the cutest little thing.
Yeah, it's a great subtitle for it. So you said you had to go back and work on it a little bit. What was the time span to write a song such as this?
Oh, writing songs is so different every time we write it. Sometimes I'll sit down and I'll just get something out in like 40 minutes and it's done and it's great. Other times we've taken a year to write a song.
Yeah, especially when we're talking about editing. I'm very much a lyricist, and so I like to analyze lyrics and decide, am I choosing the best, most efficient, most expressive way of saying what I want to say? Because you only have about 3 to 4 minutes to say something in a song, and I think as a writer that puts some good limitations on you. So that's where I think most of the work comes in. As far as like initial melodies and progressions and musical ideas, Alexander's pretty fast with the musical ideas and will toss out a bunch of melodies. We've even had songs where we changed the entire melody after, we've sat with it for a month trying it, and we just tried something different one day and decided, wow, that trumps what we were doing before, so let's use that instead.
Well, very cool. Let's take a listen to Complexion with Soapbox Stew here on the business side of music.
I stood my ground when you came walking, but you couldn't sweep me off my feet. Now I'm the one who won't stop talking. Tell you what it means. I didn't know that it would turn out this way. The mirror shows only the clothes I chose to wear out today. I would happily give them all away. The voice inside my head, blah blah yada yada, blah blah yada yada, goes round and round again, blah blah yada yada, blah blah yada yada, and I choose not to look in my reflection. The floods came, but I just kept on swimming. The sun's heat could never burn my skin. You thought that all the lights were dimming. Whoa, but my flame has filled the room again. I can't control what I don't zone. It never works out that way. The water flows right from the hose until it grows to a lake. Looking by my feet, water shows me my reflection. The voice inside my head, blah blah yada yada, blah blah yada yada, goes round and round again, blah blah yada yada, blah blah yada yada. It's a new type of in my reflection, in my complexion. I never said that I would change. How could I know that this would happen without me? I know it sounds a little strange, but if you listen, you can hear
beautiful. You wouldn't have to stop and listen, but I'm unsuitable. Beside the things that glisten, am I delusional? Or is this really how it's gonna be? I see the rain, it won't stop falling.
But my blue umbrella is open.
Just past the silver beams of lightning, the sun burns and I can feel its heat. Blah blah yada yada, blah blah yada yada, blah blah yada yada, da 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 da. Blah blah yada yada, blah blah yada yada, blah blah yada yada, da 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 da.
You're listening to the business side of music.
Hi, Julie Rust here with another Audible Insight. Exercise. Okay, there's a word for you, exercise. For some reason, when I hear the word exercise, I always hear the word should. And when I hear the word should, I don't want to do it. It just feels like something that somebody's making me do, and it's not going to be any fun. So I don't exercise anymore. Instead, I spend a little time each day thanking my body, being conscious that I'm with my body. I may stretch it, I may do some Tai Chi, I may go for a walk. I always pick a little something each day that's just saying thank you. Thank you for carrying my spirit, for being healthy, for being the perfect body for me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This is Julie Rust. To hear more Audible Insights or listen to my music, visit me on the web at julierust.com.
Fame Music Radio, serving up a potpourri of independent music to every nook and cranny throughout the internet universe. From Roku TV to TuneIn, the world is listening. FameMusicRadio.com.
You're listening to the business side of music.
This is Bob Bender with the business side of music. We have Alexander and Jenessa MacMullin here in the studio from Alberta, Canada, of all great places. It's probably as cold up in Canada right there as it is in Nashville, Tennessee right about now, or maybe vice versa. Anyway, glad to have you on the show.
Thanks, Bob.
It's always good to find new talent, especially from north of the border. You know, I noticed on your bio, you say you're influenced by such acts as John Mayer and Amy Winehouse and Civil War's Aretha Franklin. I also hear a little bit of jazz in there. I hear a little bit of blues influences. You've really kind of taken the melting pot of music to come up with what I think is some great material.
Oh, thank
you
you so much.
Going to Grant McEwen, you just are surrounded by so many incredibly talented artists in so many genres. So you end up falling in love with different parts, and then you just end up putting them together.
Yeah, it's funny when people ask you to determine your genre or classify yourself. It's a difficult thing, I think, because musicians throughout all of history have taken ideas from different styles and fused them together. So it's almost impossible to, outright classify yourself in one direction when you've got ideas and concepts from all these different places. It's like painting. You want to take the colors from each expression and put them on the canvas together, and I feel like, that's what we've done with our music so far.
I think you've done a great job. And I think that doesn't really provide a broad enough stroke of the paintbrush when it comes to the style of music. I definitely think get a chance to listen to their songs on their website, you'll understand what I'm saying there. I noticed that when I'm looking at your bio, one of the things that I found intriguing, and we're going to play this song here in a little bit, the track Kiss the Girls was part of the John Lennon songwriting contest. How did you get involved in that?
Yeah, we had some friends, the Command sisters, Sarah and Charlotte Command. They actually grew up in the same town as me. And I saw in the past that they had won one of the sections of the songwriting contest, and I thought, hey, that's really cool. You know, how I've always loved writing, passionate songwriter, and you know, we're looking for things. I think as a new artist that are emerging, you're always looking for ways to make yourself credible as an artist, so people can understand what it is that you're doing and appreciate it and maybe even discover it. So we were looking for places that other people had, you know, found some affirmation on their material. And when I checked into it, I believe we used something like Sonic Bids to put the application through. But yeah, we heard back very quickly from them that we were finalists in the competition, and we just felt really honored to be recognized as songwriters, being that it was our first EP that we ever put out, and so we just felt excited.
How did you come up with the idea for Kiss the Girls?
That's one that I wrote. Alexander and I met in September of our final year of university, and so we actually had a songwriting course together, and this was a song that I'd put together in that span of time when our friendship was just starting. Something that I was very passionate about and have been for a number of years is the prevention of sexual abuse. This song, I'd read a book also by Lisa Bevere. She talks about like reestablishing, you know, women and their dreams and, you know, stepping into purity, even though that might be something that was taken away from you. And so in her publication, her book is actually called Kiss the Girls, and I was just inspired by some of the stories there and personal stories that people had shared with me. I just put that into music and was experimenting a little bit more with an R&B sort of style when it started. And then when Alexander and I put it together, we put our own sort of spin on it to try to tell that story.
Shrouded their young lives like a great film or a clinging residue. No safe haven in which to rest, or swimming images in their heads, voices and shadows of innocence left behind. And this is for all of my daughters. Hear me out. God wants to tell you we don't want doubt, we want dignity, honor, and mystic to be restored. We open our eyes to wisdom's call, shouting in the streets and in the halls. Power, freedom, and purpose belong to you. And this is for all of my daughters. Hear me out. God wants to tell you bedtime story, to rock back, to sleep what's been so rudely awakened, too softly.
Hi, this is Vinny Rebus, the founder of Indie Connect. Our goal is to ensure that you have the knowledge, the tools, skills, resources, and connections that you need to develop a profitable and long-lasting career in music. One way we do this is through these Business Side of Music podcasts. I'd also like to invite you to check out Indie Connect magazine, our free multimedia online publication packed with practical interviews and advice from music industry experts. Go to www.indieconnectmag. That's www.indieconnectmag.com. Let us walk with you and guide you every step of your musical journey.
Next up, the Indie Artist Spotlight, brought to you by Reverb Nation.
Hi, this is Delphi Freeman, and I'm a member of Reverb Nation.
She was tired and lonely, her secrets locked up deep. A stranger in an ocean of unrequited love. Dying in LA, sorry I can't stay. Do you know the ways of my heart?
I'm based out of San Francisco, California. Some of the more interesting places I performed would be Ghirardelli Square in San Francisco, and also I had the pleasure of playing at NAMM in Anaheim back in 2015. My music genre would be electronic indie pop with some folk. Some of the artists I really love listening to would have to be Reliant K, James Taylor, and Yes. My current project is called Audio Cinema. Here's a cut from Audio Cinema titled Who Am I?
Cry myself to sleep on widows' night. All the secrets we will keep. Have you ever met death? Do you know his pain? I am not the one who should be asking you all of this, but I'm curious. Dying in LA, sorry I can't stay. Do you know the ways of my heart? Cold your my soul. My intentions are pure to the core. I'm searching for a cure. I'll get it out of my head that I'm already dead, and I'll never go anywhere. I'll get it out of my head that I'm already dead, and I'll never go anywhere. Anywhere.
can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Spotify, all at Delphi Freeman. And you can also go to my website at delphifreeman.com.
I will accept the things I can't change, change the things I can, with wisdom to know the difference.
This is Delphi Freeman, and I'm a member of Reverb Nation.
You're listening to the business side of music.
We're back in the studio. This is Bob Bender with Alexander and Jenessa MacMullin. Glad to have you on the show. So we talked a little bit about the John Lennon Songwriting Contest. It was also a finalist in the Los Angeles Vocalist Competition.
Yeah, it's called Top Vocals. They take monthly submissions, and so it was similar to that. We heard about it and we thought, you know what, why not? Why don't we just see what people think? And we put it through, and we ended up being a finalist in that as well.
And that's a stiff competition. So one of the things I also noticed, along with the music videos that you've released and your first EP, is you also filmed and produced a documentary in Haiti to bring awareness to the beauty of the country. Why choose Haiti of all places?
I traveled to Haiti 3 other times before this trip. The first was in 2006. So it'd been a number of years, and the last time before this trip was right before the earthquake. I've just been connected with that country, and I fell in love with it when I first went, which is why I obviously went back. I love the people. I like their enthusiasm for life. I like how they celebrate, how they smile. I liked the temperature, obviously. I mean, we're from Edmonton, Alberta in Canada. We had somewhere near minus 50 degrees Celsius like a couple weeks ago. Our vehicles wouldn't start for a couple of days. So whenever we can go to somewhere nice and warm and appreciate their climate, that's always a benefit as well. But this particular project was one that was, the trip itself was about 3 years in the making. I had wanted to return for a while and had a friend, Nicola Topsom, who's a co-founder of Floriana Wedding Project. My sister also partnered with her in establishing it initially, and she moved to the other side of Canada, so she's out of Ontario there, and we had been trying to get our schedules to match for a long time to make this work, and it finally did. And I was thinking, I don't want to just travel there and have these experiences and not really be able to share them with people. And as our fans have been increasing and our platform is increasing, we thought, why don't we take this opportunity to share with those people some of the things that we're seeing in the country as far as just the people, the geography, the potential, and also organizations that are doing cool things there. So we got a director who works out of both Edmonton and Vancouver, named Justin Brunell of Moving Artistry Productions, and he was keen to come. He's a traveler, adventurer, far more adventurous than myself, and he was the perfect fit to go. He's just fantastic, and all he could bring, because of security purposes, we didn't really have anywhere that we were storing anything, so he couldn't bring big gear. He had small gear, like a little gimbal, and he was able to produce or to put together something that we were really proud of over our stay in Haiti.
How can we see this documentary film?
We've got links posted on our website right on the homepage, but you can also go to our YouTube channel, Soapbox Duo, and check it out there.
It's called Soapbox for Haiti.
Alexander, you and I were talking a little bit during the break, and you have probably not a happy story, but at least it's a story that needs to be shared, and that's about your childhood.
Yeah, when I was younger, someone lived with us for about 10 years, and within that 10 years, I was sexually abused, and it had a really negative effect on my life. When I finally met Jenessa, we were able to work through those things. I stopped doing drugs and I stopped drinking, and it was just amazing to have that happen. And we went through the legal process. Once everything was done, 3 years going to court hearings and talking with lawyers, we decided, now that this is all behind us, let's just take a trip. So we went to Mexico, and we just had the best time. And while we went there, we had some inspiration to write a song about just being together, being in love, and it was just a really great moment.
Is this something you're working on? I understand you're in the studio now recording a new project. Is this something that's going to be on the new album?
Yes, it is. This is one that's going to be our single that we're releasing the earliest. And the idea of it is that when we traveled, we didn't do any business. We didn't turn our phones on even. We took no pictures or videos, so we didn't have to have our hair done, or I didn't have to wear makeup. It was a real escape. And so we wanted to capture, the joy of that kind of an escape. And I feel like a lot of people are looking for that, that getaway, that escape from their own realities or circumstances in a positive way. And so that's kind of the story of the song. And it's got a very, Major Lazer and DJ Snake sort of sound with maybe a mix of the Chainsmokers. We like to play a lot of cover songs, and we've loved some of the songs that they've come out with, and we found that, people move to them, people dance, so we started experimenting with that kind of groove, that kind of feel, and came up with this really pop, really fun tune, and it's called Mexico.
I think you've brought up something that's definitely important, and that is the broad base of music that you listen to. I've been doing this for a long time, and my son introduced me to the Chainsmokers about a year ago, and really got into the music. Loved, what they were along with the Civil Wars. Dug that music. I think it's great, and I think all songwriters need to understand what you just said, is turning off the phones, turning off the electronic devices, because, that can after a while just become white noise or static or clutter, and really can affect the way you hear something or conceptualize something, especially when it's going to come to writing a song. Do you see it that way?
Definitely.
Absolutely.
It's amazing what it can do just to turn off all the technology and the games and just be in the moment, but for longer than a moment, to really sit in there for a while.
Yeah, it was paramount for our marriage as well, and our relationship. We work together full time. Music is our career, and so you are always on the phone, on a computer, on an iPad, on something, booking or emailing or staying up to date with social media and the new platforms that are coming out. And it can be ongoing. It's an entrepreneurial style of career. And so being able to actually shut things off, and it felt weird, really. It felt weird to not be checking something, or, we just have this automated, muscle memory, right? So we do it so often that it felt strange at first, but it didn't take too long. It was probably halfway through the first day that it was just like, there it is. I'm just me, he's just him, and we're in this place, and nobody knows us, and we're just having the time of our lives.
I think that's, once again, so important that, and it's becoming so much more difficult now to be able to unplug and just recharge with someone special. And especially when you're a creative person, you have a creative soul, and you want to be able to come up with some inspiration without having to force it. And so we need to do that. We need the electronics to go dark. And I think, that's a way to be inspired and be more creative. And I don't think enough artists do that to really expand their horizon. So I'm glad to hear that you discovered that.
Yeah, thanks.
So what's next for Soapbox Duo?
We have a lot of exciting things coming up. We are working alongside Vinny Rebus of Indie Connect out of Nashville to put on a program that shares our story. As Alexander mentioned earlier in the interview, he's a survivor of childhood sexual abuse, and it's something that I was passionate about before we even met. And so it's something that we want to give further voice to and resource and just open the conversation about. I think now the climate is even more socially ready to hear about stuff like this, being that with everything happening in Hollywood, etc., it's come to the forefront, I believe, and it was something we were already doing, and so it's nice that now we can kind of sidle that movement and really share and hopefully save some people from going down the road that Alexander was down, and a lot of other people who are trying to live with PTSD and things like that. So that's what we're most excited about. In addition, we are going on a Western Canadian tour with a R&B pop artist named Josh Sahunta out of Edmonton, and we're going to be in Saskatchewan, Alberta, and BC throughout April, May. And we're planning to head back to Nashville in August. We're attending the CD Babies DIY Musicians Conference and making connections there, likely doing some showcases as well.
So you're going to be busy for the next several months.
Certainly. Very busy, but that's how we like it.
Never stops.
Good. Absolutely. So how can fans find you?
They can find us on Instagram and Facebook, and YouTube. Those are the platforms that we most often post. Just look for Soapbox Duo.
And of course, they can find you on your website, soapboxduo.com.
That's right. That's the easy way. All the links are there.
Please also add us to your Spotify playlists, because that's lots of fun for us.
Very good. Well, there you have it. Alexander and Jenessa, thanks for being on the show today.
Thank you so much, Bob.
All right.
If you're interested in learning more about our show, drop us a line at musicpodcast@mail.com. That's musicpodcast@mail.com. If you have any suggestions of persons or topics that involve some facet of the music industry that you'd like to hear about on our podcast, please feel free to let us know. You can follow us on Facebook on the Business Side of Music podcast page. You can also find us on Twitter at Music Business Podcast. Also, if you're listening to this podcast on iTunes, post a review on what you think of our show. This is Bob Bender, and you've been listening to this edition of The Business Side of Music.
The Business Side of Music is the creation of Tom Sabella and Tracy Snow and is produced by Bob Bender for Bob Bender Productions. Co-producer for the show is Vinny Rebus. The Business Side of Music is recorded at Music Dog Studios in Los Angeles, California and Nashville, Tennessee. Production sound design by Keith Stark. Voiceover and promo by Lisa Busan.